interesting about that is, first of all, I think the Jets did a wonderful job on both trades. What's interesting for that for me is the Colts, because a week, like literally a couple of days actually after Daniel Jones has his worst game of the season and remnants of his past that everyone knows about. It's not a secret.
Right.
They go all in. I'm not mad at that. It depends on how well Sauce plays.
I don't know without knowing that Sauce might have been the best available corner in the market. Other teams with better corners are probably not looking to move them. They're pretty valuable assets.
Yeah.
And so when you get to the
And
Jets, who are a dumpster fire, they're going to shake it up. They know nothing good's happening. Try and get something positive out of these players with some picks and some assets, and it makes sense. But not a lot of teams were in that particular position, so they probably looked at it as this is the best corner we can get. He does have some attributes they like, and we're trying to go all in as best we can.
The NFL trade deadline, has come and gone. So what I want to do is we want to talk about some of the, the winners and losers. But, really, this year it was really only a couple of characters that really were involved that even worth noting, which is the New York Jets, the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, and for example, the Jets, they traded away Sauce Gardner. They traded away Quentin Williams.
Yeah.
Two prominent defensive names in the NFL.
For sure.
Okay. Got back a lot of trade assets, first rounders, second rounders.
Yeah.
Okay. Quentin Williams went to Dallas, which was interesting because they pretty much acquired Quentin Williams for about 80%, 90% of what they let Parsons go for. And Parsons is the better player.
Right.
So not sure how. Quentin Williams is a heck of a player, but it's like, you could have just squeezed and kept Michael for that.
Yeah.
And then you have Sauce, okay, who goes to the Colts.
Yeah.
Interesting about that is, first of all, I think the Jets did a wonderful job on both trades. What's interesting for that for me is the Colts, because a week, like literally a couple of days actually after Daniel Jones has his worst game of the season and remnants of his past that everyone knows about. It's not a secret.
Right.
They go all in. Because they trade away and also for Sauce, like Sauce is a guy who outside of his rookie year, he hasn't been like this great. He came in the league with a lot of a lot of fodder, but after his rookie season, he's led the league in like holding penalties and all of this, and so I'm not sure, but the Colts gave away first round, second round pick, so they go all in on this trade. Now, I'm not mad at that. It depends on how well Sauce plays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you look at it though. Again, the Jets have been pretty poor since his rookie year. And so, how many of the penalties or maybe some of the stats that aren't flattering are the result of just being on a defense that's just not very good, on a team that's not very good. And if you get him on a better performing team, he kind of tightens up his game, and maybe what's asked of him is a little less than what the Jets were asking of him, to do play by play, and you get a good season. But it's definitely a move where it's like, hey, we're here to go try and win something.
Yeah,
like we're trying to win now.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know without knowing that Sauce might have been the best available corner in the market. Other teams with better corners are probably not looking to move them. They're pretty valuable assets.
Yeah.
And so when you get to the Jets, who are a dumpster fire, they're going to shake it up. They know nothing good's happening. Try and get something positive out of these players with some picks and some assets, and it makes sense. But not a lot of teams were in that particular position, so they probably looked at it as this is the best corner we can get. He does have some attributes they like, and we're trying to go all in as best we can. And as bad as Daniel Jones was, they still moved the football. They still, at the end of the day, it was a closer game. They didn't, get completely blown out of the water with the mistakes. But the thing with Daniel Jones and people that don't trust him are that when it matters, he's going to find a way to make some bad plays.
Yeah.
And that's probably not going to change. Deep down, I don't feel it's going to change.
Yeah.
But you were still productive even on a bad Daniel Jones day. You got it to a one-score game, and maybe had a chance. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And for any NFL fan, that is the advantage for going with a quarterback like Daniel Jones, is you can load up around him with guys like Sauce and Jonathan Taylor and all these other guys. I mean, I'm sure in the offseason they may make another move or two along with extending Daniel on a reasonable contract.
Right.
So I understand that is, now on a loser side, before I get to the smaller moves here, is the Miami Dolphins, because they should have been the first one, not the Jets. Like, they should have done a fire sale.
Fire sale, yeah.
They should have done the fire sale. The Jets is like in all the sports, man, but football, NFL, and NBA for sure, man. I'm such a huge fan of fire sales when you know what your team is.
Yeah.
Because you have to reset the team sooner rather than later. Like, you know what I mean? It just makes so much sense, especially when you have a couple of players that you can acquire a lot for. You know what I mean? Now, in the Miami Dolphins, you already have a Tyreek Hill who you won't be able to move because of
his injury.
You have to get Waddle out of there. Like, you could have gotten
what is the market for Waddle though?
There would be a huge. We saw other receivers being moved on the same day.
Yeah.
Like you had Jacoby Myers, and then you got the Saints guy Rashid.
Yeah.
Like, the teams need pass catchers. Buffalo was making calls. Teams need pass catchers.
Yeah.
And so they would have gotten a good amount for Waddle. But then they have a couple of these other guys. They have the running back. They could have moved A-Chain. The Chiefs made a call for A-Chain, and they made a call for Breece Hall. Like, there are teams that are interested in these guys, but you just have to.
Were they told no, or was the asking price too high?
Asking price too high.
Okay.
Asking price is too high.
All right.
So
I mean, if that's accepting that is true, though, those guys were available. Just the Dolphins were seeking too much.
I don't think they were available. Like, I don't think they made Waddle. I think they answered calls, as anybody would do due diligence in that, but they weren't available. Okay. And I think they should have been on the block. They should have been making calls, not just fielding calls. You know what I mean? Because, like, what is the answer? You're going to roll into this next season. I mean, you said you think they're going to get rid of the coach after the year.
Yeah, it'd be hard to imagine him staying.
It's right now. You tear it down and you sit Tua, and then you look to offload him in the offseason and draft the quarterback. You offload Waddle and hopefully have additional draft compensation, and you just tear it all down now. And you know what I mean? Versus like a team like, okay, so you take a bad team like, for example, the Raiders.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think a teardown is what doctor ordered for them. It's just, I guess it is different situations. Not like every bad team. But
in saying that, why? What do you draw the difference with the Raiders?
Because the Raiders, they have been bad for a couple of seasons, so they have been acquiring talent, right? So when you have a team with enough talent to be a playoff contending team, it's clear that the Raiders, they swung and missed on Geno. That's what happened there. They swung and missed on Geno.
But arguably, they haven't had a quarterback in forever.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the assets. I mean, to me, like, the biggest asset they probably could have moved would be Crosby.
Yeah.
Because, he's kind of, close to his peak of powers.
100%.
He's been around long enough that it's just like, he might, the downside probably isn't that far off. Versus, like, the other two big pieces is Brock Bowers and Genti, which are literally first and second year guys.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't make sense to move on from them so much.
No.
But Crosby's the big guy. He's established in the league. He could probably command a pretty good price. And then, you do have whatever the next quarterback is, or if there's a regime change, it's like, okay, well, you got a running back and you got a nice tight end, and we can build off of that. We got to find the right quarterback to match. Yeah, I don't know. I get the fire sale, but on some levels I don't. Like, you talk about the Dolphins, like, A-Chain probably has a couple more good years before you start to see some wear and tear. And Waddle, again, he's a fairly young player as well. It's like, you're kind of just jettisoning these guys unless somebody overpays.
Man. Running backs and receivers. Running backs, you can find in your backyard on accident. Like without even like searching for these guys, you can find them. Like you get rid of A-Chain at the deadline no matter what. I understand playing hardball for whatever, a few weeks, a couple of months, but at the deadline you just say, okay, the next person who calls, you shake hands and you hang up, whatever they say. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now Waddle, you do your due diligence there because he's a a receiver, but what have you. But yeah, you got to get rid of him. And they also have that the D lineman that does very well. Like you just do a fire sale with the Dolphins, because when you come into the next season, like I said, you have all these guys that you're paying all this money to, and you're a bad team. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, a coach is not going to come in there. A coach and a GM is not going to come in and next season the Dolphins are going to be like all of a sudden this good contending playoff team. Yeah, you know what I mean? They have to start over that process. So that's just the thing there. I mean, that's, my opinion. We'll see, because I could be wrong. Maybe you do get a coach in there, but maybe Bill Belichick comes in there next year with his hot girlfriend and
barely win an ACC game.
But again, some other small moves. Jacoby Myers goes to Jacksonville.
A week after playing the Jags.
A week after playing, he must have made an impression.
Yeah.
So you have our guy Travis. He's out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So they need some receiving help. Jacoby is a seasoned vet. He'll be fine over there.
Yeah.
And again, Shaheed, he goes over to the Seahawks, gives Sam Darnold another receiving threat. I told you a couple of weeks ago, I think the Seahawks are a serious contender over there in the NFC.
They're looking to play.
I love that defensive line. I think that's the best defensive line in football, and Sam is playing well. He hasn't had a pumpkin game yet like Daniel has had, so we'll see when that comes. I don't think he's going to play perfect the whole year. All right, but yeah, I mean that's all I have. All in all, I thought it was a whatever.
Yeah,
type
for
of
sure.
trade.
I mean, at the end of the day, like the only Seattle helps themselves, I think, and I do think the Colts probably helped themselves a degree in the immediate.
I'm not totally out on Sauce. I just need to see how he's going to.
Yeah, but I think those two. But like Dallas isn't going anywhere. The Jets are not going anywhere. And New Orleans ain't going anywhere. So every other partner to any of these trades, it was really fire sale or inconsequential either way.
Yeah, no, but the Jets are loaded, man. The Jets are loaded. If they get a guy in there that can make some picks.
The last guy they had in there was Bill Parcells. That did any good.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets are shit.
Yeah, they are.
So I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. I think the owner's a bit meddlesome and stupid. I don't think Aaron Glenn's the guy. I don't know who's making the front office decisions.
It looks like they're gonna, let Aaron come back next year and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It is interesting. I mean, he's made a ton of mistakes in this, in this season here.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.